the entire segment that opened the show, Tommy, was Mercedes Mone, TBS championship match against Hikaru Shida. The match on its own, very good match. I listened there. I took that opportunity to just listen to everything. And what I heard on the boot and Camille's interference was the right reaction, the desired reaction, the boos, leading right to the finish. I think that's what they wanted. Now, after that, they play into the idea of, oh, wait, Britt's coming out. Oh, remember when she did the Sting mask? All right, so Camille's distracted by her, and as she's does a great, neck snap over the guardrail and into the boots, where's Britt? And then they take this random shot to the crowd as Britt is coming through the crowd, which felt like it was late. She gets up on the ring apron. Mercedes is looking the other way, and Mercedes looks back as Britt's still putting her glove on for her finish, and then has to look back at what Camille's doing. And then it was just disjointed, and they didn't get to what they wanted to do in a nice, clear flow. And, yeah, Britt had her down. It was only one kick, and she went to the lockjaw, and then Camille saves her. And there wasn't a lot for that, but there was a reaction for Britt's music coming on and her raising the title. It was an okay segment that I think left a lot to be desired just in terms of how it all flowed. What did you take from how they all went down as they build towards that match at Wembley?
Well, if you listen to the crowd, they were into it. That's the one thing. I don't think I would have preferred a duck from the Singapore cane as opposed to a duck and a complete spin around, because then the arm is available, and it was like a block, but I have to go to the other arm. So there's different ways just to go about it. I don't think, everybody in wrestling is super duper critical. At the end of the day, it got the job done. Did it score? If I could use a reference, did it score a touchdown? No. Did they fumble? No. Did they throw an interception? No. It got me a first down. And
Okay.
I'm okay with that. But then also, like I said, if you listen to the crowd, everybody did their job to get that initial response. So that's the business that we are in. And then, again, not every play is perfect. Not every execution goes well. But it wasn't, it didn't offend me. It wasn't like, there's things like, I watch it, right? And the announcers put over the referee for doing a good job on one thing. But earlier, Camille, right in front of the referee, grabbed Mercedes, and the referee just admonished her. And then right after that, they went into putting over the referee for something else. You can't put when it's said on television, the moment it's said on television, then you draw attention to it. You can't say, because technically the moment she grabbed, it should have been a disqualification.
Right.
And this happened right after it. And I'm not a referee policeman. But what I'm trying to say is, once it's said on television, then you direct it. Because for anybody who's sitting there and saying, and again, that should be a disqualification. This match is over. I hate this television show now. I'm no longer going to be invested into this match. You throw fuel onto that fire.
Yes.
And that wasn't the referee's fault. The referee could have positioned himself on the other side so there was bodies blocking it. But then he would have been in the way of Mercedes sliding in. But, he did his job, but as I always tell referees, wrestlers will throw you under the bus.
Of course.
But then and again, I'm okay with it. But once it says on commentary where they put him over for something he did right after that, I'm like, you just
overlooked something else. Yes.
Correct. And then that throws fuel to the fire. Again, if you listen to that reaction, if you listen to the crowd last night, nobody cared about Britt putting on the glove. Nobody cared about the wonkiness with the Singapore cane and Mercedes almost seeing her and then not turning away. because at the end of the day, everybody did their job. If I could, because I just saw this clip, me and Sandman and Woman, and I did not see this coming. I knew it was going to come, and I still, to this day, if I watch it, I get so mad at myself. I flinched before I got hit with the cane because I was anticipating getting hit with it, and I just was like, oh, because that shit hurts, and it was to my head and back of my head. And when I sit there and I'm like, if I go back and watch it, I'm like, why did I flinch? Like, it didn't even hit me yet. It was that anticipation of getting hit, which kind of listen, it's so hard. If anyone has ever played like real sports or fought, like special teams, I've had this conversation with Moose. Moose would be like, I had anxiety because I knew I had to sit there as men were coming as hard as they could to try to kill me to get to the ball. And he goes, he was like, it was just next level. That anticipation from that moment that ball was kicked. Like, I'd be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, and if I don't do my job, I'm going to get fired. But if I do my job, no one even says, hey, good job. Back to mine. And again, I hate it. I went because it's a mental thing. And I'm like, why? Why did I do that? And I think about those things when I see, and this aired on television, and when I see things happen like that, I just kind of it happens because it's happened to me. It's happened to everybody. Yes. Could it have been executed better? But there's no way where then I'm going to be like, I am going to close my eyes during Britt Baker and Mercedes Mone match. I think it's an intriguing match. I do think it has lost some of its luster, but that's also because of suspension and also for when you have a suspension and somebody's not there, and then it gets fueled into internet rumors because I can't even say rumors. Well, it is rumors, but internet has affected AEW as a company with the whole CM Punk thing. And then you're like, oh, wait, not again. And it's unfair because we don't know the 100% truth of everything. And then it affects the performers. It affects everything. There's this, and then it's like, well, Britt is this because Britt has had this problem before. And then you're like, okay, but I don't know what that actual problem was because I still have never been told the truth. The whole build up to the showing the videotape of the CM Punk thing, when at the end of the day you saw it, you're like, really, that's it?
Right.
But then if you think about it, it created the evil EVPs. It did good business with Tony Khan. I also got Jack Perry out of this. So I turned a meh into something. Which, as opposed to all this, I'm sorry?
Why is Jack Perry a heel because of that stuff?
Well, I don't know. But his stock has been raised.
Yes. But I don't know what he did wrong. When you show the video, it's like, well, why do we not like him? What did he do?
But what I'm saying is there was so much turmoil and scuttlebutt about it that it had that negative influence. And then once you saw it, that was like, if you really think about it, like, oh, that was really it. But then there had to be a lot more to it. Like, hey, CM Punk got fired. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. CM Punk's doing his thing. Cody Rhodes is doing his thing. And there was scuttlebutt about Cody Rhodes. And even Cody has talked about it. Again, I'm dealing with Britt and Mercedes. Whatever happened. When I'm talking about stuff on television, we say she's suspended, but then the internet is saying she was suspended for one thing, but they suspended her on television, then you're bringing that to a light. I still think we're going to get a good match. I don't care anymore. I look at it. I know I'm going to get a good match. I think all three of those women got reactions. Could it have been executed better? Sure. But that's really it. Like that's how I have to look at things because of just how the situation is. if I look at stuff like in WWE or through like Vince's eyes, now it's through Hunter's eyes, you have to look at things differently. There's all different reasons for all different, stuff, but also you also have to evolve. I can't say, well, if Vince McMahon was in charge, that referee would have been fired. That referee would have been fired if Vince McMahon's in charge. Vince McMahon's not in charge.
Right.
Vince McMahon's not in charge of the WWE anymore. It's a changed place. If the boss is okay with it, cool. That's he pays the bills. It's his prerogative. If you don't like it, don't watch it. But if you like pro wrestling, watch it because you got a good show. Like you said, the match between Sheeta and Mercedes was a really good match.
Yeah, very good match.
So I won't let that take it away from something that I thought was good. And it won't stop me from wanting to support AEW, and it won't stop me from watching the show.
Absolutely. I just think you want to be able to clean that stuff up when you're 2 weeks out from your pay-per-view. And you're saying it was a first down. I think you want more than first downs. I think you look at something like that and you say, okay, so there was a little wonky timing. I'll just throw out this idea. I would have had one kick or a little bit more by Britt, take Mercedes down, not to completely lay her out, and then you bring the glove out and you tease it. And now the crowd's going to be even more invested in you getting that on her. And as you're about to get it on her, then Camille realizes what's going on, you yank her out. And then you save that moment maybe for Wembley, or you save it for next week. And you want to go, oh, if she gets that on her, Mercedes is in trouble, but you got to worry about Camille on the outside. It was just a little disjointed, that's all. But you want that to be better. And one thing I would say, that when that kind of stuff happens, and it happens everywhere, there's going to be a second life to that stuff. And you can control the second life to that stuff when it becomes part of the video package to promote for the match, when it goes on social media. Cut that out. Just you snip that away, and people who didn't see it happen live, all they think of is, man, she got right in there and was ready to go. If you cut out those 2 seconds and you show it in every other video package or social media post going forward, now you've corrected the mistake, and nobody cares anymore because now you've rewritten history because guess what? It's wrestling. You can do those kind of things.
Listen, that's an excellent call. And if you remember the show right after where Damian Priest didn't kick out.
Right.
That never happened. The only way it happens is when people talk about it, because then it's WWE Jedi mind trick. That didn't happen. But if you look at the ramifications, not saying that this is a thing, Damian Priest isn't your champion anymore. So you don't know what's behind the scenes. I know what I would have done if I was a boss. Completely different than what happened. And I'm not going to say that because people's... I'm sorry?
Hunter did defend him after that happened, the kick out. He defended Priest. He said it. He said, listen, stuff happens. We understand that. He felt bad for Priest. Whereas to your point, Vince would have lost his mind. Hey, mistakes happen. Yeah. It's not what we wanted. Priest has kind of talked around why it happened. I don't need it. I don't need all of the inside information.
Me neither.
Because he's the world champ and they're trying to make him a babyface. But you can work around that stuff. There's no rush to get that clip out. If you can make it better and it takes an extra half hour, an hour, then you know what? Make it better. And I would think that as we see video packages leading into that match in the next couple weeks, they will make that better. And you just show what you need to show. You're just selling the match as you need. They could have improved it a little bit. I still think people are excited for the match. I do think it's lost some of the juice because it's a match that when Mercedes became available, people wanted to see. And Britt openly called for it. And when Britt came back at Forbidden Door, I went, man, that's going to be a hell of a match for Wembley, and that's where that match belongs. You can get that right back. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns had one of the worst go-home segments of all time wrestling over a title. It looked so corny and cheesy, and it looked like two toddlers, and then they went out there and killed it at WrestleMania 31, and we had Seth cash in, and nobody cared about them wrestling over the title anymore. Mercedes as Sasha and Bianca had a dog shit, absolutely terrible build with Reggie getting involved, and it wasn't about them, and then they went out there and they main evented that night one of WrestleMania, and nobody cared about the build. So how do you finish the story? How do you deliver when it matters the most? Last night was okay. It wasn't great, but we got another couple of shows to go. And when they're out there in front of 45, 50,000 people, I know that Britt and Mercedes on a big stage will deliver.